Welcome to the OOTO investigation. I'm Maya, and along with Leon, we have been auditing a 60-year global agricultural experiment known as the Green Revolution. The data reveals a systemic failure driven by an obsession with hypergrowth. Modern agricultural fields treat the ground as a sterile medium. Heavy mechanical tillage and synthetic chemical inputs have stripped away the biological life below the surface, reducing the soil to a dead structural anchor designed only to hold plant roots in place. This chart shows the steep historical decline of crop nutrient density over the last 6 decades. Because our crops are grown in biologically dead soil, they suffer from the dilution effect. This occurs when rapid crop growth outpaces the plant's ability to absorb essential minerals and phytochemicals, leaving the final harvest severely depleted. That nutrient-depleted harvest feeds directly into a highly mechanized mass production pipeline. We process, refine, and package these hollow crops into ultra-processed foods, or UPFs. UPFs are industrially formulated edible substances that lack whole food ingredients, and they now dominate global diets. A diet built entirely on UPFs lacks biological diversity. When human populations rely almost exclusively on these highly refined products, we see a direct correlation with the explosion of non-communicable diseases, or NCDs. NCDs are chronic health conditions, like diabetes and obesity, that are not transmissible directly from one person to another. We treat these health crises as isolated medical problems, but the biological reality is integrated. Human physical and mental longevity is tethered to the microscopic health of the soil microbiome. To step off this toxic processed food chain, we must move away from modern hyper-growth methodologies. The alternative requires looking backward and recovering a 2.5 millennia-old agricultural technology from the Amazon. This is OOTO. We are looking at the Amazon River Basin. Despite the lush, deep green canopy above, the actual soil beneath this rainforest is nutrient-poor and heavily leached by constant equatorial rains. Yet hidden throughout the basin is an archaeological mystery known as terra preta, or Amazonian dark earth. These are man-made patches of soil that have maintained fertility for millennia, yielding massive crops without synthetic fertilizer. Modern industrial clearing relies on slash-and-burn tactics. This method completely incinerates organic matter, turning it into easily washed-away ash, and destroys the delicate architecture of the living soil. The ancient Amazonian alternative is slash and char, a process known scientifically as pyrolysis. By smoldering organic waste in a low-oxygen environment at temperatures between 450 and 500 degrees Celsius, the wood does not turn to ash. It yields a highly stable carbon structure called biochar. This specific thermal distinction prevents carbon from releasing into the atmosphere as a greenhouse gas. Instead, it is locked into the ground, creating a permanent Earth architecture. This diagram reveals biochar's microscopic physics. Pyrolysis creates a microporous structure where 1 gram contains 9,000 square feet of surface area. This immense underground hotel traps water, holds vital nutrients, and provides a safe haven for beneficial bacteria and fungi. Warning tone: you cannot simply bury raw biochar. In its raw state, it acts as an empty sponge. If you put it straight into the dirt, it will aggressively drain existing nutrients and nitrogen from the surrounding soil, starving your plants. You must complete a process called charging. Charging involves soaking the raw biochar in nutrient-dense liquids like compost tea, animal manure, crushed bone fragments, and household food waste for several days. This populates those microscopic pores with life before it ever touches your garden. Once charged, you can utilize in situ or trench composting. This simply means burying the charged biochar and your household organic waste directly into the ground where you intend to grow, bypassing the need for commercial fertilizers entirely. Creating Terra Preta engineers a permanent, regenerative housing system for the entire soil food web, sustaining fertility long after the initial application. You're tuned in to OOTO. In biology, there is a concept known as coevolution. This concept observes how human biodiversity and environmental biodiversity have seamlessly developed in lockstep over millions of years. This diagram shows the direct link between the Earth and our bodies. Physical interaction with biochar-enriched soils fortifies the human gut with a diverse microbiome. This nutrient-dense food acts as preventative medicine. As phytochemicals enter the body, they stabilize hormones and reduce systemic inflammation. The benefits extend to our neurology. The physical act of localized gardening and direct interaction with healthy soil microbes improves overall mental outlook, acting as a biological inoculation against modern, industrialized anxiety. On a macro level, rebuilding soil fertility locally reduces a community's reliance on expensive synthetic inputs. This allows neighborhoods to retain economic value internally, building a localized food chain less vulnerable to global agri-food monopolies. We can choose to adopt a slow growth mindset. Start small. Dig a trench in your yard, char some scrap wood, charge it with your daily compost, and take active control of your own food chain. Reclaiming our own physical and mental longevity begins by literally rebuilding the dark earth directly beneath our feet.